RuneScape is one of the oldest MMOs on the market today. It is almost 25 years old, and it has been getting non-stop development ever since. And today I was really curious to see how many players are actually logged on to the game on RuneScape 3 today. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people still play. Hi, my name is Edwin. I've been playing RuneScape for about 17 years now. I have over 4,000 hours clocked on Steam and countless hours clocked in the game in general. I enjoy this game immensely, and I am just here to share all the wonderful data I found through the interwebs, and I want to see if RuneScape is actually a dead game. What got me initially curious about this was I noticed that RuneScape 3 has a very positive rating on Steam, and with a 70% rating of mostly positive for the most recent 30-day reviews. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see that it is actually one of the games that is positively reviewed on Steam. Steam is infamous for just having either extremely good games with overwhelmingly positive or overwhelmingly negative, and I'm glad to see that even though I feel like RuneScape 3 catches a lot of flack because it is the bigger little brother of old school RuneScape, that it would be just like downvoted to all hell. And I'm very happy to see that it's sitting pretty nicely and healthily. And so that made me curious to see how many people actually play this game. And I was really glad to see there was actually a very healthy chunk of people that still play this game. So this chart right here is the overall player base for both games of old school and RuneScape 3. The lower part here is the RuneScape 3 community. Obviously it is the smaller out of the two, and the upper portion here is old school RuneScape. Old school RuneScape averages a total of around 100,000 players on a regular basis, and RuneScape 3 is here at 20,000. Now this is over for a multitude of reasons. A number one reason is obviously MTX inside of RuneScape 3 is pretty predatory. It has been over the past year, and with the announcement of a new CEO, Mod North, who is a veteran RuneScape player for both RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape, he's trying to pivot that into more of like less MTX. They can't remove it entirely. I don't think they can remove it entirely because it is one of the built things like in the ecosystem for the company, and it is what gives the company enough money to be able to pay their devs and keep the lights on over there. But I think dialing back is going to be a lot stronger for the longevity of the game, as opposed to just completely pushing out all non-stop MTX updates. As you can clearly see here in the charts, it has damaged the player base to, I'm not going to say irreparable. I think everything can be repairable. I think if they are able to deliver on a lot of the things that they're hoping to do and lessen the actual amount of MTX that is in the game, it'll help a lot in the long run. Now, I was very curious to see what the actual day-to-day player counts look like, and over here on Steam you can see that we have a very solid amount of 2,000 players per day, which in my opinion doesn't really seem like a lot. But on a day-to-day basis, you're not interacting with many players in this game. A lot of the stuff of RuneScape is more so pivoted, more so like a solo experience. You do a lot of quests by yourself, you do a ton of content by yourself, and it is shifted more to like a solo experience with a little bit more emphasis on group gameplay nowadays. But a lot of these people that you don't interact with, you'll be chatting with in game chats throughout the game, through like clan chats, friends chats, which are just open chat rooms that you can join into. And then also that doesn't include the giant social aspect of Discord and social media. And just like this with YouTube, there's thousands of people that chime into YouTube videos all the time, just like yourself. And I think it's a pretty good piece that the overall social dynamic for the game is absolutely alive and well. There's tons of people commenting, searching out content for all sorts of things. And so I think that general ecosystem is there, and it is just overshadowed by the overwhelming success of what old school is. But each game has their strong suits. Some people prefer the simplicity of old school RuneScape, and some people love the complexity that RuneScape 3 can provide you. Now, in comparison to other MMOs, RuneScape 3 is definitely at the lower end for a lot of these things, because Guild Wars 2, which is a very old game but it's still very successful in the realm of MMOs, pulls a player base of 4,600 players on a regular basis, and with an all-time peak of 8,000. Now, with these being Steam numbers, I was very interested to see that old school actually only has 1,000 players on a regular basis, but an all-time peak of 6,000. But that makes a lot of sense, and the reason why is because RuneScape, old school RuneScape, is heavily played through RuneLite and the official RuneScape, old school RuneScape server client. I mean, and the reason why that is because a lot of players rely on the RuneLite plugins, which is a third-party plugin which allows you to customize your UI a lot further than the base game allows you. When you play it through Steam, you only have the base UI, and that is not nearly as customizable and quality of life friendly as RuneLite is. Now, when you look at the player numbers in relation to New World, New World is surprisingly one of the biggest games on Steam when it comes to MMOs, because it is a one-time purchase and then you can just play it whenever you'd like. It is also Steam was one of the main servers and like launchers for the game, so all the players are condensed into this singular location where you're able to actively track player numbers. For RuneScape, there are a ton of different ways that you can play. Well, not like two. There's Steam, and then there's the Jagex official launcher, which doesn't release player data, and then you also have players who log on via mobile, so that can balloon how many people are actually on a regular basis. But pulling the regular data from the chart here, this is a pretty accurate representation of how the actual player base is, and overall I think that is pretty solid. I think RuneScape 3 has a really good future coming up ahead of it. They're with the recent release of the RuneScape 3 player roadmap for 2025 and 2026, with a lot of big updates coming into the game, responding to player feedback and expectations. And honestly, the quality of updates coming into the game has been tremendous. It is a great time to hop into the game. If you've never played it before, I highly recommend it as someone who has put a lot of time into it and has recently been going through the new player experience through Iron Man, which is a solo self-found game mode, which there is no trading with other players, and you buy items from things that you've created or found yourself, which is a very efficient way to go and kind of like circumvent the monetization if you do have gripes with that part of the game. Let me know in the comments below if you played RuneScape before, or if you're currently playing, and if you think that these player numbers are actually bad or if they're actually pretty solid for a game that is supposedly dead. I'd love to hear comments and thoughts about it. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.